Hello everyone, so I thought I'd give you another sort of educational sort of video today, how to resell things. And before I started doing general reselling, where I'm based now in Norfolk, I was based in Newark and I was selling army surplus equipment sort of on there itself. And so I did this for about nearly 2 years of selling army surplus, and also I'm in the force, or been in the force myself for a while. So I thought it might be nice just to give you some information about some sort of terminology and sort of special words and techniques and pro words you need to sell army clothing itself. Because this sort of come from watching Ad's video today, that I thought, hang on, there's some knowledge what people need to know about, because the clothing in the army is completely different sizing and grade, and how you could work the condition out between what you'd say. Let's say we've got this jumper here, yeah. So in normal civilian sort of world, you'd grade this as good, very good, yeah, sort of acceptable sort of stuff. But if I take an army piece of clothing, which is my shirt here, my combat shirt, you wouldn't grade this as good or very good if you're trying to sell it to military personnel, because we look at a different type of language basically. So that's what I'm going to be covering now. And also I'm going to be looking about different types of what things are called, because where you might think this is the shirt and this looks like a shirt, they're actually two different shirts, and one's called one thing, one's called the other. So I'm going to go through that as well on there itself. So clothing, British clothing, there's three main things out there in the market. The current issue uniform is this uniform here. Yeah. And this is the current issue uniform. Looks like a pattern like this. This is called MTP, or multi-train pattern. So when you're listing this type of clothing, you need to put into the description MTP or multi-train pattern. You can find the information inside of the little tag, which is just down on the sheet just over there itself, and it says on the label, it physically says shirt, you can't probably read it, it says shirt barrack MTP. So this is quite important, because the shirt barrack, this means this is a shirt what soldiers wear during the normal everyday use. They're not shirts what we fight in. Yeah, so this is like the smart sort of clothing. And the barrack means is the building sort of in camp. Yeah, so barrack is a word for camp for the army, and MTP is the multi-train pattern clothing. So that's the first sort of thing you need to be worried about, sort of on there. And if I was picked up this looks like a shirt over here. So you'd wear it and it looks like the same sort of shirt, but this one, if you read the label, it says jacket to combat. So what this means, this is a field jacket, a lightweight jacket, which we wear in combat. So there's two different sort of things on here, because when you look at them, we will see on the front of this shirt, it has pockets, yeah, with buttons on the front, and it does not, and there's no pockets on the arms. Where this shirt or jacket, as what we've known them for in the army, has no buttons on the front and has a Velcro sort of pocket, but it has mainly pockets on the arms. So we have pocket on one arm and a pocket on the other arm, which is on here. The main reason for these is when we wear these jackets, we have body armour over the top, so we can't get to the pockets which are here. So the pockets are on the arms, so we can actually get to our equipment, and we don't want any buttons on the front here, because when the body armour is on it, it could push the body armour through and actually cause us damage inside. So that's why we have no buttons on the front over there. So that's the first sort of thing. So if you're listing the two things what look like shirts, make sure you call this one a jacket, the one that has the pockets on the arms, and the one that has the pockets on the front, a shirt or barrack shirt. So that's the first thing you need to be worried about, sort of on there. Then the second thing, when you sort of go to list sort of shirts and sort of things, is the army sizing. All the army sizes are in centimetres. Yeah, so that's the sort of thing you need to worry about on here, and you'll find the size of the shirts are also written on the labels. So on the shirt, it's got 170/96. So 170 is the height of the soldier. Yeah, it's sort of on there, and 96 is the chest of the shoulder, which you want to see. So when you're listing these, yeah, unlike normal men's shirts, the size is always done by the collar size. Yeah, size 13, 14, depends on the size of the neck. The army shirts are done in the height of the soldier and the chest of the soldier. And every single shirt, there's so many different versions out there, so you need to make sure you do put those two numbers. Let's see if it focuses in. No, those two numbers there, you need to make sure you put them on there. So that is what people want to know about. Another thing which we've got on here, you probably can't see it, it's not very clear for some reason. It's just underneath on where it says the shirt and barrack. We've also got NATO and stock number. And this is a unique code for the British Army clothing, and every item of clothing has a unique code, same as the equipment as well. If you've got space in the listings or in the description, write that code down, then it's going to let other soldiers know you're actually buying an original MTP item of clothing. Because there is some other ones out there, it's called Multicam, and that is an American version of our MTP. It's not as good as ours. The colour pattern is a slight variation. It looks quite the same, but the colour pattern is ours is slightly darker on some of the darker colours. So you need to be wearing it. So if you're picking stuff up and it doesn't say MTP, it's going to be Multicam and it's going to be American. So just bear that in mind when you're putting on your listings, sort of on there itself. So that is the sizes of the shirts. So you need to make sure you put 170, 96 or whatever it was on here. The same thing on the jackets. It also says on the jackets, yeah, because this one says 17088. Yeah, so they're both mine, but they're both sort of slightly different sort of thing. And you also got the NATO number, which is the NSN number. Yeah, it's sort of on there. So NSN 8415-99-597-0431. So when I was listing these things, I put that in the description so people know what they've actually got, sort of on there. So that's that. And the last sort of clothing, there's a couple of bits of clothing you'll see. This here is a smock. Yeah, so it's a big jacket, and it clearly says on it Smock 2 Combat. Yeah, and it also says windproof as well. So this is a there's all different sorts of smocks. You've got waterproof, ripstock, windproof, sort of on there. So again, make sure when you're listing it, let people know what it is. You can tell it's a smock because it's a big hefty duty jacket sort of on there. And it's the same material, but this time it's got pockets on the front and that sort of thing. Again, this is generally worn over the top of the body armour because it's for colder weather and you want to keep yourself a bit warmer. So it's also got the pockets on the arms to keep the stuff in. If we do have body armour on over the top, we can still get to our equipment. So that is a smock, so call that a smock on listing, sort of on there. If you're not sure, it's also got all the labels written in there. Again, this is a 17088. So I'll write that information down. When you're looking at the things as well, we've also got these sort of flashes and that on the side of them. These are Velcro. Every single unit has its own flash, yeah, called a DZ flash on the side over here. And when you're listing them, if they haven't got these patches on them, don't worry too much, because obviously maybe the soldier might have just kept it because they wanted to keep the flashes sort of on there. But they're all interchangeable. So, but they are generally done for the unit you're going into. So that's Free Royal Anglin's flash. Yes, that's my one. On the jacket, again, we've got them on the jacket. On the other arm, you've got another flash with the British Army flag, and then you might see some different insignia underneath it. This is the Desert Rats. This is the brigade which I'm serving in. Again, they can be velcroed off and they can be interchanged. So don't worry too much if you don't have those flashes. If they're going to soldiers, they're going to have those flashes anyway, and they're going to, if not, they're going to take them off and restitch them and sew them on themselves. Yeah, so that is the little patches on there. Other thing to be worried about is smocks as well. In the hood, there is meant to be a wire. There's meant to be a piece of wire which goes all the way around. Yeah, so you can see sort of bending on there. Lots of soldiers will generally take that wire out. So when you're listing them, just check if you've got the wire inside it. You need to list it there to say wire still in hood or wire removed from hood. So to different units, state if the wire has got to be inside or can be taken out. So if they need to know what they're buying and make sure they can actually have it for the unit they're going into. Yeah, so that is that sort of stuff with all the names and sort of stuff to look out for. Other things to be aware of is the condition of them. So I said at the start, we don't grade things very good or good sort of on here. We grade it by grade 1, grade 1, grade 2 or grade 3. Grade 1 is what you would call very good. But what we need to be considerate of is grade 1 is soldiers will generally have their ZAP numbers. Yeah, what we call ZAP numbers. They might have names on the chest plates written in pen, sort of on the outside of their uniform or on the inside. Yeah, so as soon as you see some sort of soldier's name, or there might be a slight rip or tear, or the wire hood taken out, they then become grade 2. If there's nothing written on it whatsoever, there's no damage to the jacket or the clothing or piece of equipment you're trying to sell, that's classified as grade 1. Grade 3 is basically it can't really be used. Yeah, it's ripped, it's torn, so therefore people will still buy that for scrim. What we call scrim is when we take it apart and rip it up and stitch it to other pieces of items of clothing to make ourselves a bit more camouflaged. So people still buy grade 3 items for ripping it up and making more stuff out of it. Yeah, so they are the 3 things. Grade 1 is practically brand new, no markings, no rips, no tears. Grade 2 is if it's got any slight damage, wear and tear, sort of mud and that sort of stuff, or soldiers' names. And grade 3 is can't be worn. Yeah, so they're the 3 gradings. The other things to be aware of as well, we also have different types of clothing sort of out there, still floating around. I don't have the clothing to hand as well up inside the loft, but I've got what patterns used to be. So before we had this MTP, we had a pattern which looked like this. This is called DPM, Destructive Pattern Material. Yeah, so don't worry too much about the names of it, but it's deep at the darker browns and sort of greens sort of thing. That's called DPM. So if you're listing that, you need to put inside DPM, smock, jacket, whatever you're selling on there. If it's in this sort of pattern, this is our desert pattern. Yeah, so again, no longer in service because this got bought out. We can use this all over the place, but some people still like wearing desert camo. Yeah, so again, you'd list that as desert cam. The last sort of piece of clothing I want to bring your attention to is trousers as well. So the British Army trousers again are done in centimetres, but this time there's 3 sizes. You've got the height of the soldier, you've got the waist of the soldier, and you've also got the butt measurement sort of on here as well. Yeah, and what they are, again, they're listed on the label. You can actually see this one here. Yeah, so you've got size 80, 80, 96. So 80 is the first sort of size of the leg. Then 80 is the waist and 96 is the butt area, sort of on here. So again, you need to make sure that you do list those things because some people want a tighter fit, some people want a looser fit. So you need to make sure you put all 3 of those measurements on there so then they're going to know what they are. And it also says on the label itself, Trousers Combat Warm Weather MTP Insect Repellent. So make sure you put all that information on there, and then when the soldiers get the trousers, they know they're going to fit fine, sort of on there itself. There's nothing really to worry about over the trousers, other than making sure they're in fairly good condition, sort of thing. Again, the very bottom of them, what they're meant to have is a few tassels, and these are to tie the trousers up. If they haven't got those, they're a grade 2 trousers. If they've got those in good condition, they're grade 1. I think that's it for the clothing. I'm just going to touch a few bases on a little bits of other equipment, just things to be wary of when you're actually on there itself. So the combat fighting equipment we carry to hold all our ammunition and weapons and water and that in is called webbing. Yeah, so if you ever see bits of material there that looks like this, yeah, so with little patches on, it can be desert, could be MTP, could be DPM. Yeah, they come with all different pouches. Yeah, so these are all pouches, part of a webbing set. On the back of each of the webbing sets, sort of inside it, and see, I'll try and see if I've got actually one inside here itself. Yeah, so one of the pouches will have a little label to help you to know what it's called. Yeah, this is called a ammunition pouch. But if you put the word ammunition on eBay, it will get taken off because you're not allowed to sell any ammunition or anything on here. So what you want to call it is a magazine pouch or mag pouch. Yeah, so that is the word we use for magazine for the ammunition, where we hold ammunition in. Yeah, the Americans call them clips. Do not list that. If you put British Army stuff on, you just get slated. So make sure you call it magazines, yeah, or mag. and this will hold six mags. Yeah, so you could say 6 mag ammo, 6 mag webbing pouch, and other soldiers will know what you mean. So when you look at them, it would be a grade 2 because it's slightly worn and that sort of stuff, and it's sort of faded. Yeah, so that's a grade 2 condition. Where this one here, where it's nice and clean and thing, this is a water carrier. Yeah, it's sort of on there again. You've got the NATO stock numbers, so NSN, so not NATO, the NSN numbers. So put that on there as well. So the water bottle pouch. This one's got no damage. It's got no names on the bottom of the pouches on here, so this would be a grade 1 pouch. The stuff that holds it all together, so if you've got one of these things what holds lots of little straps all over it, these are called yokes. Yeah, so they're the things that hold all the webbing pouches together. So again, make sure when you list it on there you call it a yoke, then other people who are buying the webbing are going to know what it's called. I think that is mainly it what I wanted to just cover. Just a few things. So you've got the gradings, you've got the 3 types of patterns we actually deal with. And if anyone's got any questions on that, feel free to give me a comment down below or give me a message on my Facebook channel, that sort of stuff. I'll answer any questions you need to know about how to list military clothing, sort of on there, or names of it. So if you've got a photo, if you've got not sure what it is, give me a photo and I'll let you know what it is, sort of on there. But I hope you like this, hope you find this enjoyable and interesting. Check out some more of my stuff coming out fairly shortly. Again, bye for now.